Hey, it's Martha of Hits the MSW Coach, and I have a question for you. Are you building the life you want? Are you taking actions today in your life that will create the life that you want in the future? And so future is relative. Future for one person could be in the next 3 months. Future for the next hey, social work collection. Future for the next person could be in the next year. It can be in the next 12 months. It can be in the next 2 to 5 years. Are you taking the necessary steps today to build the life that you want in the future? And the reason I wanted to talk to you about this today is because I just wrapped up a podcast episode with a coaching client of mine who landed a macro job. And one of the things that she kept saying repeatedly in that podcast episode, and I'm going to release it in the next few weeks, is that she was so happy that she invested in herself by joining the accelerator, because as a result of that investment into the accelerator, yes, money, but time, emotions, commitment, that her rate of return is like extreme. She has she's doubled, if not tripled, her salary with this new job that she landed, as well as it checks all of the other boxes to really just help her thrive in her personal life. So my question to you is, are you building the life that you want? Because it also made me start talking about on that episode with her around the sacrifices that I made in my life 10 to 12 years ago. I'm reaping the benefits of that today, and how I shifted my perspective years ago when I was like rapidly working on trying to like change my life was, this is just a temporary sacrifice for a long-term payoff or a long-term benefit. And so it made me want to come on and talk to you about it today. So my question is, are you building the life that you want? Right? And so what we're going to talk about today is 3 beliefs that are keeping you from becoming who you know you are meant to be. And a lot of these beliefs are things that my coaching client just shared in her podcast interview. And but I know that it's true for many other people, because some of them were true for me. And I wanted to talk to you about it to highlight it, that in order to build the future life that you want, you have to be very intentional about that. And that intentionality extends beyond just like thinking of the idea or maybe even writing it down in your journal. You're going to have to invest something. What I always say is, you're going to have to invest something, be it good, bad, or indifferent. It's going to have to look like time, money, energy, or emotions. And when I say good, bad, or indifferent is, if you invest, you reap the benefits. But if you don't invest, you reap the benefits of not investing 5 years ago for the life you wanted today. So I wanted to share 3 beliefs that could potentially be blocking your future and the future self that you want to build, like be the person you want to be. So we're just going to jump into it. The first is, and I hear this from social workers a lot, is, I don't have time to focus on this right now. And so what we're talking about is careers. Again, if you're new here, I always say, I know Social Work Collection has heard me say this before, I always say that one good job will change your life. Because one good job changed my life. So that is like my motto. One good job could change your life. And I'll add on to that with macro work, that it also can then change the lives of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. So one good job can change your life. And so because of that, you will have to invest something to get that one good job, right? So, and that was what my coaching client was just talking about in her podcast interview. I literally just got off of recording the podcast interview with her where she's talking about her macro career win, and about, we were talking about the time that she invested. One time she was on vacation with her husband and she was visiting with her in-laws. While they were out and about skiing on the slopes, she was on Zoom with me going through a coaching call. So like, and she actually started crying about the thought of how much more money she's now making and how this position is so aligned with what she said she wanted to do in the macro role, what she identified in the program, which was, she was very clear when she went through the clarity phase that she wanted to support other clinicians because she's a licensed clinical social worker, and she's recently landed a macro job doing just that. And she's being paid extremely, extremely well for that. So I want to talk about the fact that in order to get something like that, you got to invest. You got to invest something. So one of the beliefs that I hear people say is that they don't have time. I don't have time to focus on this right now. Oh, excuse me. So a lot of people back burner the steps they need to be taking to advance their career. And so this, what I see is, this is one of the most common lies that high achieving people tell themselves. And actually my coaching client talked about it too, where she had to have a real honest conversation with herself around where was she maxing out her time on things that weren't going to lend itself to the future that she wanted to build for herself and her family. And because of that, she had to identify those areas and get really strategic around where can she build in more capacity, where can she build in more support, so she can then have time that she needed to lend to her career, her job search. So what I want to say about this is that what I see a lot of social workers do is overextending themselves in areas that don't lend themselves to their end goal. So what that looks like is a lot of social workers are volunteering. A lot of social workers are on like special committees and boards and things that don't yield actual job offers or even tangible work experience that can get them the job they want. So, and then I also see a lot of social workers overextending, like they already are suffering with time poverty, but they're overextending themselves and putting a lot of time and energy in things that move others closer to their goals and their aspirations, that really help them achieve what they want, but doesn't move the needle in their own career. So one of the beliefs is that you don't have time. But what I would encourage you to do is do just like my coaching client did, and take an inventory, take a self-assessment, look at where you are investing your time at present day, and ask yourself, is this helping me become the version of myself or create the life that I want for myself in the next 2 years, 5 years, again, whatever future, however you define future is time-wise. I always say long-term goals are 5 to 10 years. So are you doing what you're doing today? Is that going to get you to where you see yourself wanting to be in the next 5 to 10 years? So, because the truth is, a lot of what's taking up your time isn't bearing you any fruit now or in the future. The next belief that may be blocking your future is that you, and this is what my coaching client shared. She said that she had been watching me for years on social media. She said she had been following my content for years, but she never signed up for the Macro Career Accelerator because she was like, I know how to get a job. She was like, I know how to do it. I don't need help doing it. And she said what made her finally sign up for my program was that she was like, she was getting passed over for job opportunities at her current organization. She was applying to macro jobs and she could never progress to a job offer. And that's when it clicked for her, like, I clearly need help. And that it was okay. And she gave herself permission to seek help from someone who knew more than her in this respective area, right? So the second belief that may be holding you back from your future self is that you're like, I can figure this out by myself. And this is a very real thing for social workers. Again, I see this in a lot of people. And it's primarily because of the scope of work of our profession. We are made to feel, and a lot of it is self-imposed, like we should be the all-knowing humans of everything. If your friends come to you, if your family come to you, if your neighbor 10 houses down come to you and ask you about how do I get help with this, you always feel like you have to have an answer. But in order to become the version of yourself that you want to be, you have to be able to acknowledge that there are things that you don't know. Right? I'm very clear that I have coaches for everything. Every aspect of my life where I want to be better in the future, I have a coach for it. I have a financial coach. I have a budgeting coach. I have a dissertation coach. I have a coach. I have multiple business coaches. I had a leadership coach. I have a career mentor. This is years ago. Mr. Medlock, he's still my career mentor, right? So you have to be brutally honest with yourself about the fact that even though the world makes you feel like you know everything or should know everything, or even if you're self-imposing that on yourself, you have to be brutally honest with yourself that you don't know everything, right? And a lot of what you don't know that you know. So if you are holding the belief of, I can figure this out by myself, what I would encourage you to do again for this specific belief is look at your data. If whatever the belief is, okay, if you're like, I know how to get a job, go back and look at all of the jobs that you've had up to this point. Are they quality jobs? Do they meet all of your requirements for the jobs? Like when I say requirements, is it meeting your financial goals? Is it meeting your innate needs? Are you in an online position? Do you just love the job and it's great? Or are you just getting any job? Right? So go back, look at your data. Are you happy with the quality of jobs you've been able to get on your own? If not, then that is a sign that it's time to reevaluate that belief because it's holding you from your future self. And so Candace, again, she was brought to tears because she's just like, essentially my takeaway was she should have did this years ago. She should have came through the program years ago, but she was holding on to the belief that she could do it on her own. And she was getting interviews, but she wasn't getting job offers, right? And so Candace actually is one of my coaching clients who got a macro job interview within like 2 to 3 weeks of working with me inside of the accelerator. So the third belief is that if I can't see the value immediately, it's not worth the sacrifice. So a lot of this is related to like instant gratification and dopamine hits. When it comes to things like career coaching, personal development, for a lot of people, because it's not tied to something that is tangible, meaning like, you know how you can purchase you go into the store, you purchase your item, you walk out with your dress. You go in the store, you buy a dress, you walk out with a dress. That's instant gratification. Even if you purchase something online, like I just ordered something online and it was just delivered to me the same day. That's instant gratification. The only reason I placed the order this morning is because it said that they will have it to me tonight. When it comes to things such as career coaching, career development, things like that, a lot of what you do today, you won't yield an instant, like you won't see an immediate payoff. So for a lot of people, because they can't see the tangible payoff of it, they don't see the value in it, right? So it's similar to like the dynamic of going to school. When you go to school, you know you're going to get a diploma. Even if it's 4 years from now, even if it takes you 5 to 6 years from now, that may not be instant gratification, but you can see the tangible outcome of it. So a lot of people will sign up for a degree program well before they sign up for career coaching, because career coaching, you don't walk away with a tangible thing immediately, or you don't have other people coming up to you and just like always talking about, I got this, and this from career coaching. Why? Because there's a lot of stigma attached to careers, getting jobs, things like that, a lot of people hold the belief that it's just something that you know how to do. But just like how you had to learn how to ride a bike, someone had to show you when you were little, it's the same thing when it comes to career readiness. In order to learn how to find jobs, how to write an effective resume, how to master interviews, someone has to teach you that. And that's what I teach inside of my program. It's not something you come out of the womb doing. So a third belief that possibly is holding you back from your future self is that you can't see, that you're like, if I can't see the value immediately, it's not worth the sacrifice. I don't want to do it. The payoff it's going to be too far out. There's no guarantees that I'm going to get a job, right? However, what Candace and I was talking about in that podcast episode was how those small moments of investment. The first investment was her investing her money. The next investment was her investing her time. The next investment was her investing her commitment, her energy. The next investment was her investing her emotions in it to really move past the roadblocks that she had, that I had to coach her through when it came to confidence and showing up confidently in interviews. Those have paid off for her tremendously. And she didn't see it in that same point in time, but boy, has she seen it. Fast forward 4 months later. So the thing that I want you to take away from this conversation today is that the future you want, what you want in the future, is not built from convenience. It's built from consistency, clarity, and willingness to sacrifice in the present. And again, a very simplistic way to say that is you're going to have to invest something. You're going to have to invest either one or a few of them or all of them, but you're going to have to invest time, money, energy, or emotions. And the truth is that when you don't invest today, and you get 5 years in the future and you're still in the same place you were 5 years prior, that's when you will have those emotions of why am I still here? Why am I still stuck? I feel like I should be doing more in my career. I feel like I should be having more in life. Why am I still at the same level? In the words of my mama, when she was talking to me about something else, another area of life, she was like, you keep repeating that same lap, that same circle in life because you haven't learned the lesson. And that rings true in every area of your life, including your career. Candace talked about the fact that she had been in the field for 10 years. She's had licensure for 5 years. She's worked in multiple roles. But what drove her to really put her foot to the gas and apply what she learned inside of the accelerator and move past the roadblock of her roadblock wasn't specifically confidence, it was humility. Candace had this thing where she would go into interviews and say, my team, my team, my team, instead of I. And it was rooted out of her trying to be humble, her feeling like she can't talk about what her contributions were in a job and what she shared. And she talked about it in a podcast episode, but she also shared it in our community platform for cohort members. And she said that she got tired. It was a few weeks ago. She was like, I'm tired of being in the same positions I was in 5 years ago. She was like, and that's when I just had to remember what Marthea kept telling me, and I held it in the back of my head. It's like, you have to get comfortable with talking about your work. And she said she just went no hold bar. She put her foot on the gas and was just knocking these interviews out the park. And this is where why she landed the job that she landed. And so I wanted to share that to you as well. In order to push through these beliefs you really have to think about two things. You have to think about where you want to be in the future, but you also got to think about what's at stake if you don't take the action today for the future that you want. And do you want to be stuck on that same level? It's like the movie's I never saw the movie, but I always reference it. It's like the movie Groundhog's Day, where it's just you going through the same circles. Because I always say that case management work is entry level work. You should ideally be doing that 2 years, 5 years at the most, and then you should be progressively advancing in your career. If you've been in your career for 10, 15 years and you're still doing entry level case management work, there's a belief that is keeping you stuck and you need to tackle it in order to progress. And when I say progress doesn't mean you have to have desires of wanting to be in leadership, but in the words of Candace, you want more. You want to do more. You want to have more impactful work. You want to experience more. So whatever more is for you. So the question that I want to leave with you is, are the sacrifices you're making today preparing you for the version of yourself you say you want to become? Or are they just helping you survive another work week? Are the sacrifices you're making today preparing you for the version of yourself you say you want to become? Or are they just helping you survive another work week? Because the key to moving from surviving to thriving is you have to get very futuristic in your thinking. Because your reality does not match what you're thinking in the future. So you almost got to trick yourself into just focusing on the future, even though your reality is not there yet. So what would it look like if you started making decisions for the person you're becoming instead of your work week, or instead of the person that's just living for Friday? What will it require you to invest? Time, money, energy, or emotions? And again, on the flip side of that coin, what are you risking? Right? What are you risking? If you stay in the same type of job you've been in for 10 years, you're risking your emotions, because at some point you're going to be pissed off and mad that you're still in the same type of job. Are you risking money because you're staying in the same level of job? You're not earning more each year. Are you not earning enough for the cost of living of where you stay? Like, is it not matching up because you're in the same roles on the same level? So you're risking your salary, your lifetime salary earning potential. Are you risking your energy because you're in very labor driven positions? Another one of my coaching clients was just talking about, that was Candace. She was talking about how her first social work job was very labor intensive, right? She said her quote unquote, her words were that she was used to be in the trenches, right? So if you don't invest today, 10 years from now, are you still going to be in the same labor intensive job? Right? So it's either you invest the time, money, energy, emotions now to get where you want, or you run the risk of being in the same situation 5-10 years from now. What can you tell someone who's in school for social work? Specifically regarding what? I could tell you a lot. I could tell you this one thing, though, that I just finished talking to another social worker about. Today is coaching day, so I've been coaching a lot of people today. I had a lot of office hours appointments today. One thing that I would tell anybody that's in school is that you should have started effectively career planning and thinking about the jobs you wanted before you applied to your MSW degree program. And I don't know if this is your belief, but if this is your belief, and this goes with the conversation we're having today, if your belief is like, I'm going to wait until I graduate to start looking for jobs, or what I was telling the person I was talking to earlier is a lot of people who are in their MSW program, they message me or come talk to me, and they're like, when I graduate, I'm going to come through your program. And it's like, no, you should be in my program before you even applied to your program. Because the truth is, a lot of people get the degree before they have clarity on what they want to do in their career. And then they get in the job market and they realize that either their degree is not sufficient or they don't have the requisite experience to get the type of job that they want. But if you work simultaneously with a career coach and you're learning, you're getting clarity, all the things that I'm teaching my coaching clients, I teach them how to get specific about what they want. I can teach you how to ensure that you're getting the experience you want or need in your degree program, so you walk across the stage with your diploma in one hand and a job offer in the other. That's what I always tell people. For some people, for the elite people, they go to school to become just critical thinkers and to like philosophize. Is that a word? Like really think critically all day. But for many of us, we go to school as a means to an end. We go to school to help us get better jobs. So if your overall why for going to school is to get a better job, your goal upon graduation is you should be walking across the stage with a degree and a job offer in each hand. In order to do that, you have to be very strategic upon day one, even before choosing your degree program, so you can ensure that you graduate with a job offer. You said, well, I'm still an undergrad. That goes for you too. I work with a lot of BSW social workers or people who are not even social workers. She said, yeah, that this makes sense. Thank you. You're welcome. That's my one piece of advice, to be doing your work in your degree program. Don't be like the social workers that wait until they graduate. Because also that was another conversation I had with a coaching client. Well, not a coaching client, someone else today, around like getting jobs is a process. And I held this belief. So this is a whole nother belief. I held this belief when I got my bachelor's degree. I thought because I had a bachelor's degree, that meant automatic jobs. I got a degree. They're going to hire me just because I got a degree. And a lot of degree holders believe that. That's why you hear a lot of people with degrees. They don't say it blatantly, but the undertone is they believe that because they have a degree, like it's a requirement for employers to hire them. I'm drawing a blank on the word. They think it's like an entitlement. Like a lot of people with degrees think it's an entitlement. A lot of people with degrees get pissed off that people without degrees are making more money than them. They're like, well, I went to school. No, it's not a degree. A degree doesn't guarantee a job. You have to learn the fundamentals to know how to get a job and how to be competitive in the job market. And the truth is, the people without degrees are blowing the people with degrees out of the water as far as jobs and salaries. They're making $100,000 plus, and people with degrees are making less than $50,000. It's because people with degrees prioritize education over career readiness, over learning how to write a resume, over learning how to find jobs, over learning how to interview for them. And so I would encourage you to do that. Okay, so I have 2 events going on that I want to invite you to, if you're watching this live or watching the replay back. Enrollment for cohort 21 of the Micro to Macro Career Accelerator, which is my 3-month group career coaching program where I teach you how to identify, apply, and interview for your dream macro social work job. Enrollment is opening for that on August 17th. If you are interested, I encourage you to visit the link in the description box and visit macroandpaid.com. There is a full breakdown of what the program covers, what I teach you inside of the program, as well as a link to join the waitlist. I encourage you to visit the webpage on macroandpaid.com and join the waitlist. When you join the waitlist, you get to schedule a free get to know you chat with me where we talk about what your career needs and goals are. I talk about the program. I talk about investment. And then I also give you a free invitation to one of my live coaching calls with the current cohorts that I'm working with inside of the accelerator. So it's an opportunity for you in real time to see what it's like to be coached by me, to listen to some of my client career wins, because at the start of every call, they always share their career win for the week. And it's an opportunity for you to see like what we are learning inside of the program. Also on August 12th, I'm having a webinar titled How You're Already Qualified for Macro Social Work Jobs. The webinar, the cohort is open to any social worker. The webinar is a great place to start if you don't believe that you have any experience to qualify to get you a macro. On a second. It's a great place for you to go if you believe like, I don't have any experience to get a macro job, because in that webinar, I'm going to be breaking down the top 5 experiences that every social worker has that can qualify them for a macro social work job right now, regardless of where you work, regardless of you being clinical, non-clinical, having leadership experience, regardless of you being a new social worker, a mid-career social worker, or OG social worker. I'm going to be breaking down the top 5 experiences that every social worker has, as well as I'm going to be showing you, comparing and contrasting where macro employers are looking for those specific experiences right now in live job posts. So the investment for that is only $25. It's a great way to learn about what experience you have right now that makes you qualified for macro social work jobs, because macro employers are hiring like never before. In response to the new administration, my coaching clients are getting interviews and job offers literally every day of the week. Every day we're celebrating someone's new career win. Every day someone's going on an interview. And my coaching clients are making the most money they've ever made in their career lifetime. And they didn't have to go back to school. They didn't have to get another degree. They didn't need licensure. They didn't have to go take a certification class. They got everything they needed within my program, and they started to use it right away. My coaching clients started getting interviews as early as like the first 30 to 45 days inside of the program. There have been over 180 social workers that have landed macro social work jobs since I've been officially keeping count. And if you are interested in working with me, those are the current 2 ways. You can either come through the program, Micro to Macro Career Accelerator, or attend the webinar. And all of that information is at macroandpaid.com or the link in the bio. So I'll talk to you later. Happy macro career planning. Bye.